Alright guys, let's talk dynamic events and why they are not dynamic. So I was playing Xenothread and I was thinking to myself, like, this feels pretty linear. This feels like I'm just here farming NPCs. There's nothing really dynamic going on here because for the most part, the events that CIG puts on, they're good events, they're a lot of fun, but they are not dynamic. In this video, I'm going to tell you why and how CIG could potentially make these events more dynamic. So let's get right into it. So I was playing Xenothread and what I noticed was you hop in a light fighter or you hop in your Cutlass Black or whatever ship, and you can either do the dogfighting stuff or you can actually help run the supplies, which is very good, but at some point it just feels like an NPC farm, like I said in this video, and the other events like the blockade, the siege, they feel like that. The only exception is Jump Town, because Jump Town is just kind of like a free-for-all thing, and where you actually need a little bit of cooperation with other people for that event to go well for you, unless you are like Voided Vids and just sneak in, steal somebody else's ship, and take off with it, right? But that's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about here today are the dynamic events and how they currently exist in the game. So whenever you get these dynamic events started, for the most part, you can only play one side, and that's why it's not dynamic. You know, if I can only play as the good guy, then for me that's not as fun, and it's not moving the game in a direction. It's not moving the game in the direction that CIG actually wants the game to move in, which is like multi-role, multi-crew, much more teamwork, right? How it exists now is like you just show up and you just farm NPCs and you get paid. And while that's good for like making money in the game, if you're just starting out and they have one of these events, you need to come on, you need to make a bunch of money real quick. The dynamic events are a good way to do that. You can make a lot of money really quick, which is good. However, is it good gameplay? Eventually, it's not. Eventually, you begin to see that it's not that fun. You begin to see that it's not that engaging. You begin to see that it becomes very stale very quickly. And you may do one event, you may do it one time, and then you may find yourself just like not even doing it all together because you know exactly how it's gonna go. So how can CIG make these dynamic events more fun, more engaging, more dynamic? They need to allow us to play as the opposition. Allowing people to play as the opposition during Xenothread, Ninetales, and the Siege will allow the players to dictate the narrative of those events, right? Whether the Xenothread wins, whether Ninetales wins, or whether the CDF wins, it's all going to be decided by the players. And I think that it will move the game quickly into a place to where CIG wants the game to be. You know what I'm saying? They want the game to be multi-crew. They want the game to be, they want players working together in the game. And I think that does that. Because if you have players that are on the opposite side, now you can rely a little bit less on NPC interactions, and now it's mostly just player interactions. You can still have some NPCs on both sides here and there, but now you're going to have much more, you're going to have many more players actually playing these events as Op4 or as the opposition, and it will lend itself to a better gameplay style. So imagine if the blockade happens, or imagine if Xenothread happens and the bad guys win. You know, not only will there be salt, but it will lend itself to maybe getting some of these people who don't like the PvP style of gameplay better pilots, right? It's going to, in my opinion, force people to become better at the game instead of just relying on, you know, the NPCs who can't really fly all that well. The NPCs who sometimes when they spawn in, they're just kind of like stuck in place and it's just like shooting crabs in a barrel. I think that moving the game in this kind of way would really lend itself to a much more fun and engaging experience. Whether you win or lose, it doesn't matter. It's all about the gameplay. And I think it would be fun and exciting because it's almost like Battlefield in a sense, where there is an objective to be done and whoever gets that objective wins. Or like Call of Duty, it lends itself to that kind of gameplay that we already kind of see in other games, but it's just more dynamic because it's in Star Citizen and there's more risks because like we're in space combat and there's FPS stuff going on, there's salvage going on. You know, the players on one side have to protect the Idris, not protect the Idris, but to protect the javelin, and the players on the other side have to destroy that javelin. You know what I mean? So it becomes one of those things to where it will be much more fun. Just like imagine if there's like actual other players out there who are trying to destroy the javelin, who are trying to stop you guys from running supplies, who are trying to take the supplies and destroy those ships. You know, that would be much more fun and exciting, and it'd be sweaty. It'd be very intense. You know, there'd be a lot of cuss words going back and forth. There'd be a lot of things happening in chat, but it would also be a lot of fun. And I think that if CIG can somehow figure this part of it out, because like, let's be honest, guys, I make YouTube videos. I'm not in game development. You know, this is my career path, and they have their career path. I'm just the guy just offering some suggestions about the game that we all like to play. You know what I mean? So I look at it like that. And if you guys have found this video to be engaging, if you guys have your own ideas of how they can make these dynamic events a little bit better, you know, comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.